All right. I said I was going to do it. If you're going to do it, do it. Here it is. This is just one of many documents I have of my grandfather's, who was all the way up to, I think, York. I know Scottish Rite. I think I have something from York. But I'm showing documents to prove. Here we go. Let's see if this shows up. This is gold, so it's a little hard to see. It's got the double eagle, headed eagle, Supreme Council. My grandfather was a Freemason, Scottish Rite.
33rd degree.
33rd degree. Now this has papers in it because I actually have taken notes in this. This is, so you'll see, I'm trying to do this Masonic Ritual of Alabama. You see the G. You see where it is. These are all the documents that I have. I've got tons. And I do mean tons. These are from the 70s. So I'm trying to, I'm not doing this too good, but hopefully you see Scottish Rite. It's in Alabama. There's the eagle, double-headed eagle, or whatever you want to call it. When it was, where it was. Got another one. Here's a fall. What you don't realize is, let me back up so people will understand. I knew my grandfather was in this. I had no clue exactly what it was or anything. I know it was just real secretive, and Grandpa would only tell us a couple of things. Grandpa was an atheist. Grandpa grew up Roman Catholic. Grandpa is from Russia. He came over when he was a child. He married, and as most people today, you get married and you decide to divorce him. My grandfather decided to divorce his first wife, and the Catholic Church frowns upon getting divorced. Now that was back in the day. And he wanted to divorce his first wife to marry my grandmother. And my grandmother, because they said you'll get excommunicated from the church, we're not going to let you get a divorce. So he went ahead and got a divorce and was mad because they excommunicated him and became an atheist. And so these are all the documents, and I've got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of documents on this. And I notice online on YouTube, there's tons of people, and they show you different things and what they think, you know, all the secret things of Freemasonry is. And the thing is, I'm sitting here wondering, how are they getting this information? And so when I finally started going through my grandpa's stuff, I'm showing you a blank thing, and I'll get to this in a second. When I started going through my grandpa's stuff, I realized everybody that's got videos out there on Freemasonry showing secret handshakes, so showing different symbols and signs and all this other stuff, it's in these books. But there's a lot more that you need to know. And when I say a lot more, I mean stuff that you know it, but you didn't know how to prove it. I've got it here. Right here. This was in my grandfather's, it was in this plain cover. Here we go. Now there is Morals and Dogma, but this is Clausen's commentaries on morals and dogma. This is one of the Freemasons' stuff. It was in my grandfather's stuff. My grandfather's been dead for many years, probably going on 20. So I acquired all this stuff. So here's Freemason. Master Mason degree, tells you what you got to do, look for. Here's another document. Bylaws of the lodge. And you're saying, why are you showing this stuff? Well, I want people to realize the majority of stuff that's out there is true. So this is more of an educational. I don't think it'd be really well, you'll learn new stuff. And trust me, some of the stuff, they put out the New Age. This is Freemasonry. This is, and you're like, that's not Freemasonry. Yeah, well, it's Scottish Rite. You're like, you're showing your grandfather stuff. My grandfather's dead. My grandfather made the commitment. I did not. I'm showing stuff that this is all the pamphlets and documents and everything that they give a Freemason. And the thing is, so you see, Scottish Rite. In these books they say, well, we're not a secret society. Okay, but then they say in another book that they are a secret society. And so basically I'm just going to show you what all the documents, everything that comes through. Here's letters my grandfather got. This is so you'll know. This is legit stuff. This is not something I'm making up. This is not something hearsay. This is their documents. That my grandfather was part of Zamor Temple. You see, it's Arabic. You might as well call it a Muslim thing.
Yeah, this one that you put up, it says mosque.
Yeah, it says mosque. And if you've ever seen in Alabama, it's on Highway 459, and the cross highway is 20, I think. But anyway, it's on Highway 459. Now, the trees have grown up, but you might be able to see the top of it. It looks like a true mosque, like a dome.
And that's in Birmingham.
And I went in when I was a kid. They would have, things for Bring Your Kid Day and stuff. And what people don't realize is my grandfather being a atheist, and you say, oh, well, you can't be a Freemason or a Scottish Rite if you're an atheist. You have to believe in a supreme architect of the universe. Basically, here's just the facts. Masons. Oh, that was in California. We actually got that one. I actually got to walk in the inner sanctum of one in Ferndale, California. But basically, majority, 99.9% of this stuff is my grandfather's. And let me see, I'm going to put that California one over there. And so you can see, this is all the little booklets, everything my grandfather has gotten. My grandfather, how he came about was he basically was having his car worked on, and the man before him was checking out. Well, he heard, and it's what was supposed to be a silent thing, he overheard him say that I see your ring, don't worry about it. And my grandfather noticed that the man didn't charge the customer for any repairs on his car. So when my grandfather got up there, my grandfather's like, hey, why didn't he have to pay anything, but I have to pay something? And my grandfather had befriended the man beforehand that works at the garage, And the man eventually just kind of, he said, well, I ain't supposed to tell you, but we're in the same lodge and blah, 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 blah. And my grandfather said, he said, the guy said, I'm not supposed to charge a fellow Freemason. So he said, my grandfather said, well, I want to get in on this. And so the man pretty much helped him get into Zamora. That's what you saw earlier. This right here, you're going to see, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's the Freemason symbol. I've got other documents to show. And this is an actual fort in Alabama. I'll end up getting that, showing you guys that. Actually, we actually went to that fort and saw it. And they do have a replica. And it does look like a Freemason symbol.
I think that one's in Pensacola.
Oh, is that one in Pensacola?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. That's not the one on Dauphin Island?
And that's Fort Morgan.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. But anyway.
Fort Gaines is on Dauphin Island. Fort
Rockets
is in Pensacola.
And so my grandfather basically just got into it because he wanted to get free stuff. And you know, if you knew my grandfather, you would understand. My grandfather was all about getting free stuff. And so...
Well, also, you understand that generation back then.
Yeah.
If you talk to people who are about 100 years old right now, you grew up in the Great Depression, then there were people who would... You know, they didn't have much. And so if you saw an opportunity to get something free, you went for it, even if it meant joining an organization like the Masons.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you believe what they said, it's just... Hey, you want some free stuff? I'll do it. You know.
And they say you have to believe, to be in a Freemason, you have to believe in some higher power. They call it the Supreme Architect of the Universe, or the Master Mason, or there's other names. This right here is a, if you can tell, it is a certificate my grandfather got when he was 30 for becoming a 32nd.
32nd degree, says right here. 32nd degree of the ancient accepted Scottish rite.
Okay, so I'm going to show it to you up close. This right here, when I show my videos from now are going to be really short. I'm not going to talk too long. I'm just trying to give you a little background to show you what my grandfather has. This is legitimate stuff. This is not, you know, this is their seal. Look at their seal. Nice.
Yeah, this isn't hearsay. A lot of things on the internet you can't believe. And so what she's showing you is all these documents that she has. And what she's going to tell you about Freemasonry comes from these documents. So these are official documents from the Masons where she's getting this information from.
Yes. And so my grandfather was basically faking it. You heard the saying, fake it until you make it? Well, my grandfather faked it because he did not believe in anything. He was a diehard atheist. And you're like, why are you showing your stuff? You're going to get in trouble. Look, my grandfather made this vow. I did not make this vow. I'm not trying to, there's no money that we're gaining from this. It's educational, if you want to say. This is my grandfather's, is that his due? Yeah, I think that's his dues paid.
His dues, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, that's his address. He don't live there anymore. He's gone. Dead and gone. Grandmother doesn't live there anymore, so. Basically, my grandfather was into free stuff. So that's how he got into it. But there's more stories to it, more things, some more, there you go, nobles of the Mystic Shrine.
So he would have been considered a noble, I guess, if he's reaches the 33rd degree, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. I never thought about that. Here's one of their magazines. Here's a magazine. He was a Zamora News. Win a car. They had their symbols. But basically, my grandpa's Pumbaa, I call it a Pumbaa hat. They call it a fez. But basically, and here's another one. Zamora. Let's see what else we got here. Articles. You see everybody using bumblebees. Here you go. Here's an article. Off the Mormon, and I'm going to show how Scientology, Mormonism, and Catholicism is all related. And actually Freemason, Scottish Rite, York, all that, it is part of the Freemasonry. And that is in the documents. You see BYU. Do you want to see what they're big on? This is off their website. A study of the bee hive symbols in culture. That is the big thing now. You're seeing beehives around everything. Oh, I want a bumblebee. Ooh, look at the bumblebee. That's a picture of a bunch of people. Here's my grandpa's. Oh, let's see here. If you can see it or not. You see faintly. That kind of looks like Joseph Smith. I think that emblem is in the back of a restaurant somewhere in Utah. But that's supposed to be the Sphinx. You see the pyramids. You see there's a camel in there somewhere. Yeah, there's a camel. That's in the background. This is my grandfather's. The Imperial Council. Ancient Arabic order. Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. This is official. This is one of my grandfather's many certificates and stuff.
Yeah, they're also connected to the Muslims.
Yes, that.
And if you look at Mormon, like Book of Mormon, you look at some of those pictures in there, they got all this Arabic stuff in there.
Yeah.
Well, they got Arabic stuff. The Masons have it. The Muslims have it.
There's my grandfather's. You gotta, every time from what the books say, you have to show your membership card and that your dues are paid in full. They don't let you just walk in, you pay once. Nope, they don't allow that. They want your money, honey. But here it is, Scottish Rite, Freemasonry. Here's what it looked like back in the day. All these documents are back from the 70s. These are all my grandfather's documents. So, Knights of the Road. Here we go. So, basically, everything that we have. What was this? That's something that. Let's see here. What else we got here? Scottish Rite. I've shown that. Let's see. And Scottish Rite. I've shown that. Let's see. What is this one? East Lake. And you say, you're showing stuff you shouldn't be showing. Well, you shouldn't put stuff in a book. And you can't be mad at me for showing this stuff because we actually, at a thrift store, bought a Eastern Star book. So when these members die off, they basically, the kids don't care today. So all the stuff is put in thrift stores. Here's another letter. Zamora Shrine. This one. Well, I've not showed that one. Let's see. I showed that. Let's see. Oh, okay. I know this, and I don't know if this is. Here we go. I don't know if you can see it. Look at that. It is so tiny. 3. My grandfather had this among all of his Freemason stuff. It is a pin. It's an actual pin that you put like on your collar or something. You see how tiny that is? Let's see. Let's let the camera focus.
Probably showed that he got his third degree. Once you get your third degree, you're a master mason, and you're that's the highest you could get in the local Blue Lodge. So
and
what that is.
Here's this one. Here's my grandfather's ring. Let's see if I can get this where it'll show up pretty good. Focus, camera, focus. That's my grandfather's ring. That may be pretty good. In one of the documents it says that on your ring, it says something about you put an arrow on your ring to indicate if you think you're going up or down. In other words, if you think you're going to heaven or hell. And to me, that looks more like an arrow. So my grandfather thought he was going to hell. And there is a YOD in here. I don't know if that shows up, but that's another thing. You got, you're not going to be able to see it on the inside. But anyway, that's my grandfather's ring. Oh, and I got it upside down. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. Here we go. So that's my grandfather's ring. So I'm going to start showing videos. And I'm also going to show, I don't know if you realized it or not, recently there are two new nickels out there. And one of the nickels has a Freemason handshake on the back of it. And in the little black ritual book, it shows a picture of the Freemason handshake. And it matches to the back of the nickel. I'm going to be showing that. I'm going to be showing a lot of stuff, telling a lot of stuff. This is the Eastern Star that we found at a thrift store. Now remember, everything else is my grandfather's. I inherited the stuff. Eastern Star.
Eastern Star is for women.
Yeah,
the men are the ones that control it, but it's for the women.
It's for the women. But anyway, so here you go. This is all the stuff that we have, and we're going to be going through it. Let you see what exactly is said. It'll confirm majority of the videos that are out there. And you will find out stuff that you did not know. And stuff that you would be appalled to find out that what they believe or don't believe or whatever the case may be. Anyway, so I just wanted to do this first video. It's longer than what I wanted to make it, but from now on, and of course they're all into the New Age movement. And like I said, this is part of their documents. They are part of the New Age movement. This bad boy right here. Now you say, well, it looks like your grandfather read it. Nope, none of them, none of the pages were crinkled, anything. None of them. My grandfather did not read any of this stuff. My grandfather was getting stuff for free. And he was just so happy to get stuff free. But like I said, this is, I can't even, I gotta show the Pumbaa hat. I'm not through yet. Sorry. Oh, I call it a Pumbaa hat. Here it is. It's official. Oh, with the little tassels. Get kind of sexy. Swinging them around. That was my grandfather's hat. But, wait a minute. Wait, there's more. He had a bolo. Did you know they gave out bolos back then? See? There's a bolo. I think that's what it's called, right? Is this called a bolo?
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I've never had one.
I never had one. I think when I was growing up back in the day, they started wearing them.
I see it's got that same symbol there, that sword and the star and the moon. The Allah is the moon god in Islam.
This was my grandfather's hat.
32nd degree.
32nd degree. Got where's the little eagle? Got the eagle on it. Got 32nd degree.
Looks like a bellhop hat. hat.
It does, it does. And if you're wondering, you're like, oh, that's not, it's not Scottish Rite hat. Yes, it is. There's his, with my grandfather's name on it. And he had stickers. I guess that's to put on your car or put on your refrigerator. Who knows? And if you're wondering, you're saying, oh, your grandfather wasn't into this. Here is a picture of my grandfather wearing his Pumbaa hat. Good looking man. Let's see, do I have any other different pictures of my grandfather? Here's a nice, lovely one. Grandpa with his Pumbaa hat. I call it a Pumbaa hat. They call it a fez. There's my grandfather and my grandmother. Grandmother, very beautiful. Grandfather. Let's see if I can find a better looking one. Here we go. There's my grandfather. Tassel and all. So just to let you know, yes, this is official stuff. Yes, majority of this stuff backs up a good majority of the YouTube videos. Here we go, folks. It's gonna get nothing but interesting all the way down.